Alright, welcome back once again. This is your teacher Yves Lexus. So, tout à l'heure, nous se trouvons plus sur verbe, surtout verbe auxiliaire. Mais kounya, nous allons commencer, nous allons toucher et plus verbe régulier. Donc, nous allons voir des techniques, comment pour capable apprendre mieux. Okay? So, let's drop right into it. Regular verbs, mais ça a besoin qu'on ait dans verbe ça. Et comment pour conjuguer, pour connaître comment pour utiliser, etc. So, here's what it does. So first thing is, if the base form doesn't end in E, what do? You add ed, okay? To make the past tense and past participle. So really, ça n'a pas essayé faire là, c'est on focus sur plus et the past tense and the past participle of the regular verbs. Pour qui ça? C'est parce que son James comme ça, we're not going to conjugate the entire thing anymore. We're going to just focus on the principal parts. So if we're going to have to focus on the principal parts, which is like, for instance, walked, okay? Third person singular, past participle. Pour qu'on focus sur ça, okay, we need to understand this. Okay, so once again, if the base form doesn't end in E, okay, like walk, for instance, first thing you do is, for the past tense in the past, a participle, you add ed. So it's going to be walked, okay, ed. Talk, talked, ed. Need, needed, okay, needed, ed, you add it. Ask, asked, okay, ed. Look, looked, okay, ed. Perfect. Now, deuxième bagay qui gagne, c'est que, mais deuxième bagay qui gagne, you repeat the final consonant before adding ed when the verbs is one syllable. Les verbes la gagne yon seul syllabe, ou doit doubler consonne finale là avant même qu'on ajoute ed. Okay? Repeat the final consonant before adding ed when the verb is, premièrement, when the verb is one syllable. Okay, on regarde pour nous. For instance, drag, that's one syllable. Repeat the G, ou bien doubler consonne finale là. So dragged, and then I add the ed. Flip, flipped, okay? Slip, slipped. Beg, begged, okay? So puisque son seul syllabe lié, donc un seul syllabe, moi doubler consonne là. Clap, clapped. Rob, robbed, okay? And then that's it. So very, very simple. Deuxièmement, you repeat the final consonant before adding ed. Première, c'était fini when we have one syllable. Okay, le son gagne yon grain syllabe. So qu'on a la deuxièmement, c'est lorsque verbe là, lui-même li fini dans yon grain consonne par exemple. Qui presque même bah ça nous se trouve là. Okay, so it's when the verb ends in a single consonant. Okay? You have vowels and you have consonant, ou bien consonne. Okay, drag, dragged, slip, slipped, begged, begged, clapped, rubbed, flipped, etc. Donc ça c'est répété puisque c'est you fini avec you end in a single consonant. Okay, don't they? So they do. All right. So now here's why this is important. Now look what happens is when they finish when it's not one single consonant. Look what happened. Add. That's two consonants. Look what you do here. You add ed. Added. You don't add another d, okay? But you just put ed. Buzz. Buzzed. Okay. Kiss. Kissed. Fizz. Okay. Jazz. Jazzed. Jazzed often used with up, like you jazz it up, to jazz up something. Ok, troisièmement, c'est lorsque consonne qui précède là, on grain voyelle qui précède consonne ça. It's when the consonant is preceded by a single vowel. So, par exemple, presque même j'ai encore dragged, that's a single vowel. Dragged. Plan, planed. Hap, single vowel. Happed. 2P, m'ajouter 2P. On a là encore drag. Dragged, m'ajouter 2G. Single vowel qui suivent consonne finale là. etc. Begged, stopped, robbed, same thing, ok? Voyelle, B, donc m'ajouter 2B, ED, bâton, et puis avancer. Ok? Now, quatrièmement, you repeat the final consonant for verbs with more than one syllable if the consonant is preceded by a single vowel. The verb ends in a single consonant, and then finally, the final syllable is stressed. Qui ça veut dire? Je vais me traduire ça pour. Songez, premièrement, pendant que nous continuons dans l'autre loi qui vient, premièrement, ou répéter consonant fort pour verbe qui gagne plus passé une syllabe. Si dans le cas ça, trois cas ça, premièrement, consonant li gagne une voyelle qui vient avant. Une voyelle qui vient avant. Deuxièmement, verbe là finit avec une consonne. Ok, et puis troisièmement, the final syllable is stressed. Okay, the final syllable is stressed. Now, deux premiers, we already touched on those already, right? We're good with that, those two. Okay, we just talked about, as you can see here, consonant is preceded by a single vowel. So we're good with that. Verb ends in a single consonant. Let's see right there. I think we had it. The verb ends in a single consonant. So we get that, right? We know verb ends in a single consonant preceded by a vowel. We double the final consonant, and then we add ed before we add ed. So we get that. Now the point is here. The third part is the one that we haven't touched on. The final syllable is stressed. What does that mean? Ça dit là c'est que c'est lorsque et si moa, tant que je dis, il gagne more than one syllable ou bien il gagne plus que one syllable, more than one syllable, ok, il gagne plus que one syllable, pas bien tout mot qui finit en L-I-O, en plus souvent c'est O, tant que O, ça c'est syllable, not syllable, ou bien des people dit both people, no, it's not both people, it's people, okay, people. Syllable, alright? Tackle, C-L-E, ok? Donc c'est comme ça à prononcer. Now, là, what's interesting is this. If the final syllable is stressed, what does that mean? Même gros verbe là, prefer. Now, c'est jaune, Américain pas du prefer, ok? Prefer. See, the stress is on the second syllable, or the final one, since this one has only two syllables. Prefer, ou bien préfère, right? Pas préférer, non, préfère by n'importe quoi. So préfère, right? So it's prefer. You see, the stress m'foncer sous deuxième syllabe là, ou bien syllabe finale là. Et c'est ça l'avait expliqué là. Si que l'aime foncer sous deuxième syllabe là, ben besoin doubler consonne finale là avant même que moi ajouter des. For instance, prefer. You hear that? Prefer. Fur. That's the second syllable. Then therefore ça a besoin on l'autre R-E-D. Control. Okay? Control. Okay? The troll is where the emphasis is where it's this I stress. So you can't just say control, it's control. Okay? Control. Prefer. Alright? Prefer. Perfect. Okay? Permit. The stress is not on per, it's on mit. So permit. Permitted. Okay, stress on second syllable. So permit, so it's permitted, right? Because the stress is on mit. Permit, control, controlled. Doubler consonant et puis m'ajouter ed. Stress in one, stress is on second syllable. Now here's another one. This one was prefer. I would prefer. This one is refer. Okay. Second syllable again, referred. Alright, stress is on second syllable. Now here's another one, regret. Okay, C'est pas regret. Et pas regret. Non, c'est regret. Not regret. Non, c'est regret. Regret. Et ça fait me dire que langue anglaise et l'on prononcer le penser avec son musique. C'est comme ça qu'on fait. C'est monter descendre. Et des fois faire monter descendre, on côté pour faire, on côté pour mettre accent sous moi américain pas capable d'entendre. Et tout l'autre pays tout qui parle anglais autant que Canada, tant que et pays en Europe parce que c'est presque le même genre. Excepté quelques là quelques mots donc ils ne pas toujours tomber même côté. Mais à part de ça, ou pas jamais dans les monde ça va appeler du what etc. So c'est ça le problème nous-mêmes haïtiens. We don't stress. Je n'ai pas les créoles, nous parlons créole comme si sont en ligne droite, qui est très linéaire comme ça nous. Alors que l'anglais lui-même c'est comme ça. Et comme ça l'a fait. Comme ça l'a fait. L'on fait qu'à faire pratique côté pour mettre stress puisque nous allons teach sous ça autour, ça na phonétique etc. Mais nous allons faire petit phonétique là, de temps en temps on fait petit phonétique. So là où et on commence à faire bagage ça, bouche ouverte formal. Parce que vous obligez gagner une habitude pour faire monter descendre ça et bouche commence à faire mal de ça. Parce que muscle pas quoi habitué avec genre de activité ça. Mais automatiquement il commence à habituer donc vous allez voir que it becomes easy, very easy for you. So regretted. Okay, stress is on the second syllable. Now let's look at this. Maintenant qui cas ou pas de doubler consonant. You do not double the consonant if the final syllable is not stressed. T'as pour j'aime ce gain prefer. Okay? Prefer, the stress is on the second syllable, you double the consonant before adding ed. We had regret. Okay? The stress is on the second syllable before then I double the consonant. The final consonant and then before I add ed, right? Now, you do not double the consonant if the final syllable is not stressed. Here's some example. For instance, visit. Okay? So, it's visit. So, the stress is on visit, not visit. Okay? I don't say visit. I said visit. So, the stress is on the first syllable. Then therefore I should not double that consonant before adding ed. All I have to do is just add ed after. Visited. You see, V. The stress is on the first syllable, not on the second one. Therefore, you should not double the consonant. Happened. Mbadi happened. Mdi happened. Okay, the stress is on the first syllable. Then therefore, all I have to add for the past tense is just ed. I don't need to double the consonant, the final consonant. I don't need to do that. Why? Because the stress is on the first syllable, not on the second. Isn't that interesting? I find it to be very interesting. Order. See, order. The stress is on or. Then therefore I don't need to add an R before I add ed. All I have to do is just add ed and then I'm done. Because the stress is on the first syllable. Okay? Wondered, right? Wonder. Well, just add ed, wondered. Because it's wonder. It's not wonder. Okay, c'est pas wonder. It's wonder. The stress, the emphasis is on the first syllable, and therefore I don't need to double my last consonant before I add the ed on for past tense. Let me make sure first. Okay, so I did go a little bit further. Okay, now here's another one. When a verb ends in y, which we kind of talked about before, when a verb ends in y following a consonant, so what do? You change the y to I before adding your ed. That's what you do first. So you can't just leave it like that. You have to change the y with I before you add your ed. For instance, you have carried. Okay, carried. To carry something. Carried. cry, cried, okay? Hurry, hurried, all right? You change, you drop the Y, you add the ED. Study, studied. Try, tried, okay? Very good. Now, so that was the regular verb. Now here's where things get very interesting, and that's what we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna do a little bit of phonetic in this lesson here, okay? But we're still working on regular verbs, but we're gonna learn how to pronounce when we have a T sound, when we have a D sound, and when we have an id sound, okay? We're gonna touch on that. Let's look at that. So this is called pronunciation of the past tense ending ed. Okay, pronunciation. So chaque côté ou gen prononciation par. So look at here. It's not pronunciation, it's pronunciation. This is the spelling of it. Okay, pronunciation. You pronounce something, but it's pronunciation of the past tense ending ed. Now let's look at that. When a verb ends in a voiceless sound, such as what? P, K, F, S, SH, or CH. Let's do it again. When a verb ends in a voiceless sound, such as P, K, F, S, SH, or CH, guess what happens? The ED ending is pronounced as T sound. Okay, so first thing I need to remember is whenever I have P, K, F, S, SH, CH, then the ED ending is pronounced as T sound. That's a T sound, walked. Ok, so ki sa di? Li di kon sa, le gon verbe ki genye yon voyelle ki pa vibre, ok? There's no vocal vibration. Okay, such as taku P, K, F, S, SH, ou bien SH, ou bien CH, eh bien, EDA li prononce taku T, le ça. Mais quelques exemples. Walk, walked. K, therefore walked. Okay, laugh. Ça prononce laugh, okay? The GH is F sound. So laugh. To laugh means how are you laughing? Okay, so laugh, laughed. Okay, F sound. So therefore it's a T sound, laughed. Oh, I laughed at you. Okay? Kiss, kissed, kissed, I kissed you. Vous avez the T sound. Why? Because the S here. CH, look at CH. Watch. Watched. Okay, I watched it. Of course, wish. SH, wish, wished. SH. Okay, the T sound. If you, of course, breathed. Okay, and let's move on to. We're still going on pronunciation. I think this is very interesting. I hope you guys take the time to really, digest, let it sink in. Pronunciation of the past tense ending ed. Now, l'autre encore, if the verb ends in a voiced sound, earlier we had voiceless, right? We had voiceless, which means no voice, no vocal vibration. If the verb ends in a voiced sound, meaning now you can have the sound, the ed ending is pronounced as, not has, it's as D. So you remember, I said you don't say as, it's when you have the verb to have, it's has. Why? Because you have the H and the stress is on that, of course. Donc où est sous HAS for has, and then you say as, you say something else, which two totally different things. So c'est ça qui arrive lorsqu'on parle et puis Américain peut dire what, c'est parce que il va pas comprendre ce qu'on dit parce que chaque mot déformé veut dire l'autre bagaille. Par exemple, cheveux, c'est hair, H-A-I-R, Mais ou même l'on parle dit hair. Oh, my hair, I'm gonna get my hair done. Well, hair, ça s'écrit A-I-R. Then, les gars peuvent parler de l'air qu'on a respiré, puis là, dit, mais what is she talking about? How come you're gonna get your hair done? The air you breathing? I mean, I'm just taking that silly example just to show you whenever you mispronounce something in English, you're more likely to be saying something else. Then English speaker, the Americans, are saying what? Et pas exprès au fait. C'est tendez ou pas qu'attendez, soit dire. Donc c'est ça qui fait que vous avez besoin de cours comme ça pour capable montrer comment bien parler. C'est exactement ça l'affaire. So now, again, if the verb ends in a voiced sound, then the ed ending is pronounced as D. Like regular verbs ending in tapu B, G, V, Z, Z, like ZH, J, and then TH. Now, l'offre tellement habitué avec eux, on va pas même songer ça autour. Parce que tu es habitué avec eux. Tu as par exemple petit théâtre, sûrement tu es habitué avec eux. Ou en pile le petit théâtre, pas un bon bail sur montrer nous là. So, c'est là où même on vient gagner confiance, leur camper. Ça veut dire, même là, ces petits théâtres, ça va dire un jour, parce qu'on soit dire qu'on a bien campé, ou camper sur roche si solide. Est-ce qu'on va pas camper sur ça mouvant? Ou pas peur? Ou on n'a pas peur? Parce que même on capable de leçon. So, c'est ça fait. So, yeah. So again, B, G, V, Z, Z, ZH, J, and then TH. For example, if a verb ends in a voice sound, so the ed ending is pronounced as D, which applies to verbs ending in sounds like B, GV, ZH, J, and TH. So that's pretty much the same thing that I just said. So example, robbed, robbed, okay, B. So B, therefore I'm getting the D sounds like robbed. Tabli la gontier parce que ça c'est presque répété, okay? But it's pretty much the same thing. Alright, that's just a little mistake. So pronounce as D, which applies to verbs ending in sounds like B, G, V, V, Z, ZH, J, and TH, which is the same thing here we see. Okay, so example, robbed, begged. Okay, begged. I begged you. M'prio en grâce, mando, bagay. Loved, right? It's a D sound, loved. Buzzed, okay? Massaged, massaged. M'a dit massaged, massaged, okay? Judged. And within all vowel sounds, as in played. For instance, played, okay? Now here's the last one. Okay, so with pronunciation, so whenever it ends in T or D, okay, the ed ending now is pronounced as a separate syllable, and it's the id. You remember the ID, like slid, that I show you, the IT, like in sit, for instance, and lip, and kick, right? Okay, so it's just like the ID, it's id, right? You remember the A sound? So, ou ka comprendre tout qu'on y a, tout l'aime de commencer avec letter sound, avant même moi arriver là. Do you see the letter sounds are still following you? And I'm very happy that you watched the letter sounds, so that's very good. I'm very proud of you. So keep doing that. Okay, so here's an example. Complicated. Okay, to complicate. So complicated, right? Id. That's the id. 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 Not id. It's id. So complicated. Okay, or complicated. Wanted or wanted. I wanted you. I wanted you. Okay, but American plus souvent do I wanted you. I really want you. This thing is very complicated. Don't you realize how complicated this thing is? Okay? Wanted. You see how much I wanted to have a drink? Do you see how much I wanted to spend some time with you? Okay? need, needed, ok, needed. Donc, living on separate syllable, right? Doesn't it? Par exemple, ou get complicate. Now you have complicated, right? It was complicated first. Now you have complicated. It was want first. Now you have wanted. So two syllable. Want, from want to wanted. Why? Whenever the regular verbs C ends in T, ND, the ED ending is pronounced as a separate syllable. Yeah. So, pronunciation. Alright, so complicated, want, wanted, need, needed, trust, trusted, visit, visited, add, added, lend, lended, fold, folded, okay, I said that already, lended again, avoid, avoided, okay, attend, attended, ed, remind, reminded. So all of those really, you add that extra syllable, which where you hear the id sound for those verbs ending with the ed ending. Okay, perfect. Again, I hope this lesson was a great one for you. Donc, nous encourageons pour continuer et partager, continuer à garder et puis pour nous apprendre ensemble. So, plus vous montrer sous ça, c'est plus ma produit tout. Et je vais cacher tout, nous avons factory anglais là, nous avons anglais là pas quoi. Ça par exemple ça pas trop qu'on décacheter. OK, donc nous faisons comment ça décacheter pour nous allons continuer de décacheter. Until then, keep on learning.